Intro music.
Overview narration.
Oh, doctor!
My name is James.
My name is Joey.
And this is the Brothers Padre.
James, a beautiful week in sunny San Diego, California. It wasn't sunny. It wasn't actually that sunny this weekend, but we're going to say it's sunny.
It was slightly overcast. It was 75 degrees, and so that means all of San Diego was upset the weather was poor.
But great weekend in Padres baseball, James.
Phenomenal weekend in Padre baseball.
We'll go over the details of it in our recap episode.
Needless to say, Joey and I's predictions for how good the Padres are going to be this weekend were both way, way off. It turns out the Padres are the best team in Major League Baseball. And we've been looking up for recipes for humble pie. It's not our fault, though. And I was thinking about it a lot, how we got our predictions so wrong. We're old school Padre fans.
Yeah.
Any other time in our Padre fandom lifetime, we lose 5 of our star players. You just assume,
Yeah.
No. You don't think you're going to sweep the best team in the National League East. You just don't think that. A team that has the same record we had going into that series.
Yeah, it was a great series. We swept the St. Louis Cardinals. I definitely was not expecting that. I think that I didn't realize that when they said that they walked a lot of people, that it meant that they walked a lot of people. I just assumed they walk more people than the second person by 2 or something. No, they walked substantially. I think 28 people, like Padres, were walked in those 3 games. That will not get it done.
No, it won't.
Will not get it done.
St. Louis figured that out.
But it was fun. We won. We swept them. We were there on Sunday, James.
We were indeed. We were on national television while A-Rod was talking.
Yes. It was the highlight of my life, really. Not really. It was like a lovely couple in front of us. One was a Dodger fan, one was a Cardinals fan. They were talking about Albert Pujols. They found the one Dodger hat in all of the stadium at the time.
That happened to be married to a Cardinal fan, and they were talking, and Joey and I were right behind them.
I wouldn't say we didn't give him crap. We gave him slight crap the whole time.
We picked. They were good natured. We weren't mean. We didn't knock them out or anything. Anyways, we did it. They were friendly enough. I did say obviously L.A. and St. St. must suck to live at because you're both in San Diego.
True.
And they both went, yeah, it's true. It's like, I know it's true. I've been to both places. St. Louis and LA suck. And so we were on TV. I got hit up by a lot of people on Twitter and text messages and Facebook, and only one of them was related to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
You're famous, James.
I am famous. All of my friends watch baseball.
Yeah.
So just because I told them I was going to do it, thank you, Eric Shearer, Vince Rizzo, David Brosnan.
Oh my goodness.
Devin Hoffman.
So cringe, dude. So cringe, dude.
What? Jeff Hay. What? I told them I'd do it. It's just anyways.
You've changed, man. Fame has changed you. Fame has changed. It's true what they say. Fame changes a man.
Amanda Hosford.
Who's that?
I don't know. She's married to an idiot. Anyways. And Jackie Workman. Like I said, only one of them I'm related to, and the other one is married to you.
Yeah, true. That's true.
That is true. So thank you all for your communications.
Can't believe we did that.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. James, should we get into some topics?
Let's get into some topics,
People
everybody.
want the topics.
Hey, they also all listen to our podcast.
That's true.
I mean...
Thank you for your continued listenership. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast. Remember to like us on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're on Twitter, @BrothersPadre. But with all that, you're a
And
little,
if you give us a shout out, we'll shout you out on the podcast.
No,
or if you see me on TV.
That's a promise that I won't keep. You might keep it.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I can't keep that promise at all.
I'm the older brother. I make the rules.
Okay. Okay, James, we got some topics to work through. And it's actually not on the list, but you just mentioned it. Last week, Padres fan knocked
Out of Rocky fan.
It was a thing when Padres baseball Twitter for about 30 minutes. Yeah, I mean, what the video is like, obviously intoxicated gentleman at the Coors walks up to a obviously intoxicated Padres fan, walks up to a Rockies fan and just decks him.
Knocked him out. Knocked him. Just Mike Tyson. Just knocked him out. Just one punch.
Yeah.
Knocked the sunglasses right off his head. It was a brutal attack. We do not, condone.
We don't condone that.
Yeah. We don't condone Dodger fan behavior. And obviously, it's the Dodger fans' fault because as Padres and Rockies fans, we've been brutalized by Dodger fans for so long.
Oh my God.
This is obviously Dodgers' fault. But the key thing that you have to remember here, the Rocky fan did not press charges, which tells me whatever the Rocky fan did to get the Padre fan over there, he didn't want any official records.
Not that these videos are funny, but what happened next is 30 fans appeared out of nowhere. Rocky fans all swarmed him. All swarmed the Padres fan. It's like, you take on one of us, take on all of us. He's like, holy moly!
Yeah, he suddenly was in a fight with all of Colorado. Were on top of him.
Yeah. I think the lesson we learned is maybe in a doubleheader, cut off beer sales earlier. Don't.
Yeah, it was what the.
It was the second. It was like the fifth inning of the second game. So it's
So
like
they've
12
been
innings.
drinking for 12 straight innings.
Well, there's also a break in between. I don't. This is my assumption. You can, I think, in Colorado stay the whole time. Not a good idea.
So
maybe not have so
in
much alcohol.
theory,
Yeah.
if they were both drunk, they had been drinking for 7 straight hours.
Yeah. Not good. Not
Not good.
Don't do it, kids.
Yeah. Maybe in the second game, just serve tea
Yeah.
and Coke.
Yeah. Maybe post a mean comment on Twitter. Just be a little.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Do what everybody else does this century and attack people on Twitter. That's what you do.
I didn't mention that, but let's get into other topics, James. We were at the game. The next topic's about. Manny Machado was center of a Nothing Burger story in baseball. But we have to talk about it because
Everybody's talking about it, and it has to do with the Padres, and that's what we talk about. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I don't even remember the inning. You or I were having a great time laughing in the outfield, and Manny Machado breaks up a double play in the fourth or fifth inning, the big inning that we won the game with. And I break up the double play is Manny is
On first base.
On first base, Jake Cronenworth grounds a ball toward Tommy Edman,
who charges the ball into the base path of Manny Machado.
Yes,
Manny Machado is 6'4". Tommy Edman is 5'8". These are imperative to know this with the next part of the story.
Manny Machado slides down towards the feet of Tommy Edman, and Tommy Edman is unable to tag him and get Jake Cronenworth out at first, breaking up said double play.
Yeah, he is unable to leap over said giant of a man because even when he starts to slide, he's on his knees. He's as tall as Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman couldn't make the call. They collide. And Tommy Edman also never applied the tag.
Yeah.
If Manny wanted to, he could have gotten up and went to second. Manny gets up. He's like, oh my God, are you all right? And he pats him on the butt. They both smile and they walk off the field.
At the stadium, it was the complete. When I saw it was a thing, I had to remember the play.
Yes.
At the stadium, no one cared.
And as we mentioned a couple minutes ago, we were sitting next to a Cardinal fan.
And a Dodger fan.
Well, I mean, everyone makes mistakes, and it was clearly that woman's mistake was marrying that Dodger fan.
How dare you?
Obviously, it's some sort of blackmail situation. Anyways, so she was not upset. She was like, everyone sort of for a second went, oh, okay, they're all good. Anyways,
because once you saw Manny give him a hug, you're like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're fans. We don't know what's going on. We don't really know what's the communication between those two players.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was such a nothing burger of a play, and it was such a thing you see 1,000 times in a baseball year. This is what baseball players are trained to do.
Yeah.
You break up a double play. It's in the rule. You don't just charge people. Go up and go look up. Albert Bell breaks up a doubleheader. If you want to see how it looks like when it is violent and it is done intentionally, Albert Bell, who used to be this monster of a man, also one of the steroid era guys, just big, huge, angry dude, just knocked physically, looked like he was a football player, physically knocked over this tiny little Mariner. And like full on.
I mean, that is interference. Like what Albert Bell does. Sorry, I cut you off.
Well, no, Albert Bell. That's of course what Albert Bell did is 100% illegal, 100% an aggressive thing. Manny Machado sliding underneath the player is something they're all trained to do. Every manager who was asked about this said, "Yeah, we train all of our guys to slide underneath the second baseman." Not to trip them, not to slide, because your body's moving forward momentum. You just can't stop and duck.
Right.
Sometimes that happens. They can't do that, but they were within 3 feet of each other. Manny tried to slow down, but obviously couldn't. He's a big dude, and he took a slide.
Right.
Didn't hurt the guy. And unfortunately, the reason why this blew out of proportion is because Manny Machado does have a reputation. Earlier in his career, he was a really, really arrogant player. He threw a bat at a pitcher. Like, legitimately, he's earned his reputation. He slid into Dustin Pedroia and broke his knee, and Dustin Pedroia had to retire, who was probably on his way to a Hall of Fame career. Now, Dustin Pedroia has come out and said...
The play is perfectly normal. Like, at the time, that's what was very... Chase Utley did it, but he was heralded for it.
Yeah, that play was, again, he was sliding to second base. Nothing that Manny Machado was doing was wrong. And everyone, because Manny Machado had this reputation,
right, everyone
assumed it was a dirty play. Manny Machado, again, is 6'4", and Dustin Pedroia...
It's just one of the shortest players to play the modern game of baseball.
He is the shortest person ever to win MVP. I think he's 5'5". And
is he shorter than Altuve?
I believe so. I just remember when he won the MVP.
He's very short.
When he won the MVP, that was a big thing. He's the shortest person ever to win MVP. And Machado's a foot taller than you. And he's a bigger dude. He's got at least 80 pounds on him, too.
Pedroia's not 5'9". Don't lie to me, Google.
And I just remember when he won MVP, it was a big thing that he was the shortest MVP in the league. And I believe when Altuve won, he then broke.
According to Altuve, he's a little shorter. But I thought Pedroia was much shorter. You know why? Because I'm 5'10". I don't want to know that he's 5'9". I was like, oh, you're a little man. I'm not a little man. Well.
Yeah, that's Joey's hiccup right there.
As well discussed in this podcast, I'm very obsessed with players' heights. So. I mean,
I'm not. I'm taller than Joey by at least 3 inches.
I think the problem with Manny's is any sort of aggressive, quote unquote, brainy gamesmanship play is immediately attributed to malice, right? So people say, "Oh, he's a malicious player." Any sort of play that, like someone said the comment, if Mike Trout made this play, we'd all be like, "That's a good baseball play."
Yes, exactly.
No one. There is a bit of like, oh, it's Manny, so we just assume it's the whole like thug narrative around him, and that's like we don't have enough time in this podcast to talk how stupid that is, but like it is people on social media really have that mentality. And like people brought up Like twice has happened this year. Non-Manny Machado players have done it, and no one batted an eye. Justin Turner did it earlier. Trey Turner did it. Trey Turner did it to Francisco Lindor. Like the same exact play. It's not.
I said, you see this 1,000 times.
Yeah, and so the problem is
not only see it 1,000 times, it's a known baseball play.
Yeah. And what's weird about it is just because of Manny's name attributed to malice gets clicks and views.
And again, unfortunately, that is on Manny Machado's past. Let's not. He had that people think he kicked somebody on the way to first one time when he was a Dodger, but I chalked it up because it was the Dodgers probably told him to do it.
Well, actually, that is a Dodger strategy. Max Muncy does it all the time.
Oh, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like it legitimately, the Dodgers do that. Let's not forget they're a dirty team, and they're dirty people. Machado left said dirty team to come to San Diego, where he took. I've said this in the first podcast. It was clearly his road to Damascus moment. He got off his evil ways and has come to San Diego. And since coming to San Diego, he has in my opinion, the money in his contract is just how much of a captain he is on our team.
Incredible.
He Absolutely. Is if you look at any highlights, he is the head cheerleader. He is everything. He's always, if a player had a bat at bat, the game we went to, Ha-Sung Kim had a bat at bat. You saw Manny Machado with his arm around him on the way up out of the dugout into to field, and he was cheering him up.
Yeah.
I've seen him do that with Cronenworth. I've seen him do it with Profar. I've seen him do it with Tatis. I've seen him walk out and give Tommy Pham a heads up. He is like a thumbs up. He is the cheerleader in our team. He is the leader of our dugout, and he's still jaws at the umpires, and what the umpires have only ever publicly called out one player in the history of baseball.
And it's Manny Machado.
That's Manny Machado. Something if Machado would have done to an umpire, he would have gotten fined for. And that's because Manny Machado, if it's a bad play, he'll stand there and tell them it's a bad call.
Yeah.
And umpires don't like that. And so, again, it's all because Manny Machado's previous reputation. And again, it's not totally undeserved.
It's a little undeserved. I'll push back a little bit. I think it's a little.
He threw a bat at a pitcher. He swung and threw a bat.
No, but I'm saying it's undeserved because that's not what happened, right? It's one thing.
True.
It's one thing to say. It's a little weird to say that a young kid gets to every modern action is colored by a bad mistake or an aggressive mistake from earlier, right? Like, to me, it's like, I understand why people think he has a reputation for it and why he does have a reputation for it from back then, but that play wasn't that way. And what people used it, they said, oh, because he's a dirty player, this is a dirty play. And when in reality, he really isn't. Like, it was a perfectly normal play, but they colored it using this idea of like, oh, hey, he's a dirty guy, a dirty person, so this is a dirty play. And it was just, to me, is a super cheap way to get clicks, to get attention. And to me, it was like, I mean, you and I watch him all the time, and we see a completely different Manny Machado than what people portray him on Twitter. Like,
absolutely,
we see, like, I really, really, really respect Manny Machado as a leader, as a person, as like a lot of ways. I really do, because he does really, really care about this team. He cares about other people, and you can immediately see it. And it's annoying to me when people say things like, oh, Manny, you were doing so well, and then you did this, and you're like, well, you're just doing that to get clicks. Which a YouTuber did start all of this just by basically saying that, like, implying that it's a dirty play. And that particular YouTuber, he did it on Twitter, and unfortunately, this isn't the first time he's done something like that, even to the Padres, where he just throws a quick reaction for one thing he's seen, and then he's come out and said, oh, I looked at more tape, and it's not a dirty play. I've seen all three angles now. It's not a dirty play.
And fortunately, when you have 200,000 people that follow you on Twitter, you can start something like that. So, Fuzzy,
Wow.
come at me, bro. I don't really. Come on a podcast. I would love to talk to you. Anyways, but come on, man. You know, you got to watch more Padre games. Machado is not the same player he was. Anybody can watch Padre baseball and figure that out because he is 100%. You could tell he stepped into leadership role. He cares more about the Padres winning than the entire fan base. He really does. You could just tell he is a Padre fan, and he's a fan of every one of his teammates.
I mean, just look at the Dodger series at home.
Yeah.
Like, that series, he's hurt. His lower back is hurting. His knees giving out, and he's hustling like crazy, keeping us in the ball game and encouraging everyone to be good. Like, yeah, you and I are not going to explain enough how much we like Manny Machado.
Yes, please come on our podcast, good sir.
And I think what he did was perfectly fine. Like, it just, every single baseball player on Twitter was like, this is a totally legal play. This is a nothing burger.
Every manager said this is what we train our players to do.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to see an aggressive player that was aggressive his entire career, look up Albert Bell knocking out a second baseman.
It's real gnarly.
Yeah, it's an aggressive hit.
I just think it's just like cheap modern culture way to get people's attention. This whole thing was, and I was already pretty sick of it. Like once, we weren't sick of it until we got home because we were like having a great time at the ballpark.
And nobody in the ballpark noticed. And the thing is, we had the Cardinal fan right in front of us, and there was a group of Cardinal fans a couple seats down from us. No one cared. It was a baseball. It was a play you see it's a play you do, and if you were ever in Little League, they train you on this. Right. It's not an unusual play.
Yeah, but the internet's good internet and made us all fall in love with Manny even more. Be fiercely defensive of our leader.
Yeah, exactly. He is. Yeah,
and he came back next game, hit a home run. So
exactly. Yeah,
ain't no thing for Manny Machado.
But unfortunately, baseball is full of stupid rules and stupid things. I could tell by your face you were looking to do a segue, and so there it was. You want to talk about the next story now?
I thought this Manny Machado thing was going to drag on for days, but thankfully, another stupid thing happened, and it does relate to the Padres, weirdly enough, somewhat. Yermin Mercedes, James, are you familiar with him? Great story. Started his career with 8 straight hits. He spent 1,000+ games playing minor leagues. As a journeyman minor league independent baseball player, finally gets a call up because Eloy and Luis Robert are injured to the White Sox. Comes into play, hasn't played, an older guy starting to play baseball, rips it up, and now a part-time DH for the White Sox. Cool story.
And has a 250+ batting average. I think 7 home runs so far.
Yeah.
He's doing a legit good job.
Yeah. So, set the scene a little bit. It's Minnesota. The Minnesota welcoming the Chicago White Sox. They're losing very badly. It is 15-4. It is the top of the 8th, or is it 8th or 9th? I think it was the
8th inning. It was that, yeah.
It was the top of the 8th. And what we see now in modern baseball games more and more is they bring in a position player. In this
everyone
case,
thinks they're Shohei Ohtani. They're not. But everyone thinks they are.
Williams Astudillo, who was pitched before for the Twins as a position player pitching.
This is 3rd time pitching this year. And I think that's more an indictment of how sucky the Twins are.
Worst team in baseball.
They
But that's not hyperbole. They're literally number 30. It's like,
yeah, they are the worst team in baseball. They have a position player who's an okay position player who's thrown more innings than some of their relievers.
So, he doesn't throw fast. He throws 45 to 60 mile an hour whatever balls. If you and I threw towards home plate, we're just as good as William Astudillo.
I know, right? Call me up, coach. I can
Put
throw
me
it
in, coach.
too. Yeah, I can move to Minnesota.
So he gets 2 guys out, and then Yermin walks up, takes 3 balls. It is, of course, James, the most sacred of counts, and that count is 3-0 when you're up by let me count, 11 runs in the 8th inning. This is the time we must remember the sacred nature of baseball. Never forget how sacred baseball is. When you're up by 11 runs, facing a position player in the top of the 8th while you're up by 11. Never
then
forget.
Throws you a hanging curveball,
46 miles an hour.
46 miles an hour, and your entire life you've been trained to hit a ball.
Entire life you've been dreaming of being a major league hitter.
Yeah.
You've gone 8 years of
And
working your butt up.
You've trained to hit major league pitching, and suddenly someone throws you a beach ball and just hangs it in your power zone, and you swing at it. It's instinct.
Hits a home run, because of course he does. You know, because he threw him 3 straight balls. He finally threw them in the zone. He's going to swing at it. Hits a home run. Cool. That's a fun story. They're both portly guys, so it's kind of funny visually.
I'm a big fan of portly guys doing good things.
Astudillo, Mercedes are big guys.
Yes.
Short and big guys.
Yeah.
Funny visual. Whatever. Hits a home run. This is funny. Where everyone's has a good jolly laugh because you're now down by 12 runs. You're not going to win the game. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you will. You could.
The Twins broadcasters immediately go off. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I mean, you gotta get the same pitch the next. You gotta get the exact same pitch the next pitch. Why swing at that one? Well, then no, you're not gonna get the same pitch. Then that's like,
Why is it? Was 3-1 less sacred? Like
exactly like. Is it worse to get a ball and walk and then have the guy not find the strike zone? Like, because when we were at the ball game on Sunday, the Cardinals walked 2 runners in.
yeah.
That was painful to watch the Cardinals not be able to hit the strike zone. I think the Cardinals manager would rather than us taking 2 solo shots off them than have them walk 6 players in a row. That's just me.
Yeah. It to me, they start jawing and they're like, whatever. Today, Tony La Russa had a string of comments. Tony La Russa, if you don't know, back when baseball was invented in 1850, he was born.
Yes.
So that's not true.
That's not true, but
He was born the year before World War II ended, which is also a long time ago.
very long time ago.
I like old people. I love old people. Don't get me wrong. But he's set in his ways, James.
To say the least. He's been a manager longer than either one of us have been alive.
Bananas. Tony La Russa, famously, I mean, he came to White Sox. Everyone's very surprised. White Sox, very much like Padres, lots of young, vibrant hitters. And they're like, why are you bringing this? Why are you bringing this dinosaur in?
The idea was, we have this young, wild team of young studs. Let's bring this old journeyman in to rein them in and teach them how to play baseball and whatever.
Tony La Russa says he made a mistake. There will be a consequence he has to endure within our family. The mistake, of course, he made was hitting a home run on a 3-0 pitch up by 11, the top of the 8th, while facing a position player. That's the mistake he made.
Well, because Tony La Russa said he gave him the take sign. Don't swing at it. But again, it's everything this guy is trained to do is swing at a ball. He's in the majors for the first time in years. He's been struggling to get to this position his whole life. He threw him a fat pitch down the middle. Actually, it's just a little bit high, right in his power swing, apparently. It's like,
What are you supposed to do?
yeah, it's like getting into a pit with tigers and saying, "Don't attack me." No, that's his nature. It's literally what this ball player has trained his whole life to react to is a fat pitch down the middle.
Do you think that I'm going to date myself a little bit. Early 90s Chicago Bulls, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan. You're familiar with them. I don't need to tell the audience who that is. Anyway, so do you think...
They're basketball players, baseball fans. And for those of you who don't know,
you think...
basketball is a sport in which a bunch of tall people bounce a ball back and forth and try to get it into a hole. Imagine soccer, but for tall people, and that's basketball.
Do you think Phil Jackson was like, we're up by 40, Scotty? Like, hey, Michael, when Scotty gives the alley, don't you dare oop.
Exactly.
Don't you dare.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No, he's going to oop. He's going to slam dunk on your face. He's going to do it over and over and over again.
And this is my argument when Fernando Tatis hit the grand slam against the Rangers.
Also on the most sacred.
Also on the most sacred of pitches. I mean, my goodness. Sacred of pitches and sacred of moments.
Yeah.
Time to respect the other team because nobody's ever seen a team make a miraculous comeback. It's happened more than once. There is a rule in baseball that is it's the Napoleon Waterloo. We give up. Like throw in the towel. Literally, it is a manager has at any point can walk up to the umpires and say,
We done.
We done. We give up. It's a unique rule. What is it? Automatically goes in the record
9-0.
book. Yeah, automatically goes in the record book. The game is over 9-0.
All the stats remain, but it's 9-0.
It's 9-0. So here's the thing. If your team is losing by 11 runs in the 8th inning and you think the only person you can throw in because you've used all your other pitchers,
or you don't want to use your pitchers,
is an out-of-shape third baseman.
And catcher, and first base, sometimes left fielder, if they're out of left fielders.
Is a portly position player. Maybe just walk up to the umpire and go, you know what? We want to go to hit the showers. My boys have been smacked around a bit tonight.
Yeah.
Let's just go home. There's no reason to continue this charade of us pretending we're going to beat this team. We're not. And it just makes me so upset because, it hasn't been done since that rule hasn't been enacted since the early 70s. I don't care. I'm so tired of hearing all these people like, well, they're smacking us around. Well, you could quit. You have that option. You can't tell me this Mercedes guy,
Yeah.
when he goes up for arbitration, no one looks at the stats and go, oh, look, he didn't swing a 3-0 pitch. He's a good guy. No, they look at his hard stats, his stats that are marketable and,
Produce
runs, home runs, RBIs, batting average. That's what you look at. You don't look at when you play the game right.
Here's $1 million, kid. You play the game right.
Exactly. You learn to take a 3-0 pitch. Good for you, son. No, you give a guy $1 million like, oh, you hit 12 home runs last year. And you had a good at bat, and then that's $1 million a season. Yeah, no, it's mind blowing that It's Mark Grant says it the best. Shout out to Mark Grant. Come on our podcast. We haven't mentioned him in a while. Pitch better.
Yeah.
And I go a step further. If you can't pitch better, quit.
Yeah.
Walk up to the umpire. Go look. I want to go yell at my team for 90 minutes because of this performance. And if we wait till 9th inning, we're going to be too tired.
Tony Russa said, if I could do it different, I would. I would send 3 pitchers to go up to bat. Just stand there and tap the ball somewhere.
So give up for the other team.
Yeah. Some context too. This the Dodgers were up by 14. We were beating the Angels 14-1 last week, and the Angels came back to score 11 runs. So it's a little silly to think that crazy things can happen in baseball, but it's especially silly to infer that you'd actually want to help the other team.
Yeah.
Tony Russa's so out of it. He doesn't get it.
And okay, I'm gonna
At least so. But
okay, let me have this thought here. Tony La Russa is so old school. In his time, he managed like what he is famous for managing. The Oakland Athletics and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yes.
In the late 80s, mid to late 80s, end of the 90s, he managed those two teams, took them to the playoffs, won World Series with both teams, and he won series in the late 2000s as well. But there was a key thing that happened with his players that played for him. i.e., players that he had, Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco. And if you don't know anything about those two players, Jose Canseco especially, is known when he was an Athletic, he basically started the steroid era. You cannot tell me that old school Tony La Russa, follow the rules 100%, did not know his players were cheating. I'm sorry. If you think you're going to follow these old school sacred rules and then and there's no way you didn't know Mark McGwire wasn't cheating in the 98 season when he hit 70 home runs. Yep. I'm sorry, Tony La Russa. You don't get to sit on your high horse of old baseball rules when you openly you purposely stood aside to let your stars hit home runs when, okay, maybe they didn't throw it. Maybe that was the difference. They were hitting home runs, but they certainly didn't swing a 3-0 counts when they were up by 10 runs. Oh, that's wrong. But you put all that horse steroids in your system. and no, oh man. Tony La Russa, he's a Hall of Fame. There's no doubt he's a Hall of Fame manager. But you gotta get out of that mindset. It's just so stupid. It's so beyond stupid. And he is such a hypocrite. That's the biggest thing. Like, you manage some of the biggest cheaters in all of baseball. There's no way you didn't know that was going on. There's just no way. You can't tell me he didn't know. And now he's upset because this one kid who has maybe only has
a season or two.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have a large career. You're not guaranteed anything as a Major League Baseball player.
You're not guaranteed anything in life.
Yeah.
Certainly not a cookie being thrown right down the heart of the plate when you're a Major League batter. It's ridiculous. And I agree with the White Sox players who are calling for him to be fired. Yeah. They need somebody younger that understands the game of baseball better. I understand Tony La Russa's friends with the general manager. And that's how he got the job. I understand the mindset, sort of let's get a young guy in there. That's sort of what the Padres, they hired Jace Tingler because they want somebody that understood how to develop young players. But also Jace Tingler he's come out and said, to swing away.
Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say too, is so Tatis got quote unquote in trouble. He swings 3-0, hits a grand slam, starts Slam Diego. Jace Tingler at the first night doesn't really back him up, but the next day, complete about face. So I was wrong. This is fine. Rules are changing. I need to adapt effectively, not them. Right? They don't need to. I should be happy. My star stud 21-year-old player just hit a grand slam.
Exactly.
Right. Tony La Russa then. So
he says more.
Tony La Russa. So we got to button the story up a little bit. Tony La Russa was basically saying, hey, there's been consequences. Says I would try and spank him, but he's too big and strong. And
he literally said that.
Quote, I could try and spank him, but he's too big and strong. End quote. Yes, sir. You're too old.
You're too old.
This is before the game. And during the game, pitcher Tyler Duffy threw behind Yermin Mercedes, showcased the Twins were actually mad because they retaliated. The umpires then said, hey, Tyler Duffy, you out of here. Rocco Baldelli, manager of the Twins, like, that's stupid. Ejected both the manager and the pitcher because you can't be playing this game, okay? Because you can't be throwing at people in retaliation because the other guy did his job. Because the umpires, for once, have understand what's happening, right? Yeah, umpires actually know it's like, hey, this is a game. This guy hit a home run. You don't get a throw behind him and attempt to hurt him because he hits a home run.
Again, the umpires could turn to the Twins. Yeah. You could have given up. You could have just said, we give up. Throw in the towel. We're done. That is a legit rule. I know it's we can't do that. You can come back. The Twins, you haven't scored 4 runs in a game all season. You're not coming back. You know?
What do you think Tony Russa said after today's game?
I'm so sorry. I've seen the error of my ways. Swing away, swing away. Let's the young people do their thing.
I don't have a problem with how the Twins handled it. End quote.
So the opposite of what I just said.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I was wrong.
What's going? It's just
So,
I don't. So on Instagram, Tim Anderson comments on Mercedes Instagram like, "Hey, keep doing you're good, man. You're great." Tim Anderson, a very flashy player, also very fun. I just LaRussa needs this. You just can't have these kind of takes these days. You have like when the White Sox are healthy, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, Tim Anderson, and now Mercedes are all very fun, flashy, good players.
They're what is bringing viewership back to baseball.
Yeah.
The reason why baseball cards are up. The reason why everyone's loving baseball again, because there's these young, flashy players.
Yeah.
And they're all on Twitter, they're all on Instagram, and it's fun. Because baseball is a romantic sport, and it's a perfect way to it's a perfect storytelling sport more than any other sport. People like Tony La Russa. It's just, again, you freaking hypocrite. You can't tell. You were okay with your guys just taking all the drugs, all the steroids, but you know what they never did? They never pimped a home run. I mean,
the dumbest. It's funny. I never thought about that. The fact of the matter,
he's managed some of the biggest cheaters in baseball history.
Oh yeah,
if not the biggest cheaters in baseball history.
Mr. James, I interrupt this broadcast to tell you that Tigers may in fact have how many no-hitters are we at now?
This would be, if it's you're telling me the number
They're 1 out away from a no-hitter.
Oh.
Once again, it's against the Mariners. RIP, sorry Mariners. So we have Musgrove, Miley. Who else did we have?
The White Sox.
Rodon. Bumgardner. You and I are calling Bumgardner.
Memes.
Yeah, so we're at Means.
So this would be a 6 no-hitter.
Second against the Mariners.
Yeah.
Oof. Sorry, guys.
The thing is, the Mariners are not that bad of a team.
2 strikes, James, against future, maybe, if we don't get Joey Gallo, Mitch Haniger. Future Padre outfielder Mitch Haniger.
From the White Sox?
Of the Mariners.
Mariners, okay.
Got 2 strikes, James. Is he going to do it? Spencer Turnbull at 116 pitches. Will he do it? We'll see.
Let's see.
We're watching Game Day right now. It's very exciting podcasting. Foul tip. No-hitter number 6 is in the books.
Wow. And
we did 6 or 5. I already forgot.
6 because
we're counting Bumgardner.
Bumgardner counts. Baseball.
That's crazy.
That's crazy that there's 6.
6 no-hitters and not even June yet.
Yeah. I don't think this ball has changed too much. No, not everyone's batting averages aren't down. No, not at all. Oh, on my way over
Maybe
here.
the Mariners just stink, though.
It's true, but it's not helping the worst teams that already struggle for hits. Yeah, it's not good. Also, I was listening to, on the way over here, Tony Gwynn Jr. and Jesse Adler's broadcasting the baseball game.
Yep.
Colorado is going to have the All-Star game. Like, hey, bring back the old ball for the All-Star game. Get rid of the humidors that they put the balls in. Let's just see these guys. Let's have an All-Star game where 20 runs are scored.
I'm very into it.
Yes.
I'm a big fan. But James, Tony Russa's old. needs to be out of that job. I can't say stuff like that. But just to go back to that, I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's just weird to me that he still has that take with that set of players. You just can't have that take.
The Padres. So here's an interesting thing. For the last 3 years, the two teams that have been compared to each other the most are the Padres and the White Sox. They're two teams that are very fun, have a lot of energetic players, very young players. And so the Padres and the White Sox, I think we will definitely, there's a good chance you'll see the Padres and the White Sox play each other in the World Series within the next 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
That they're both super good teams. It's a better chance that the White Sox will get in there if they get rid of Tony La Russa. He's stifling his players.
It seems like it's clubhouse. I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn, but it does seem like clubhouse cancer a little bit.
Yeah.
And can you imagine? So, famously, Fernando Tatis Jr. was traded from the White Sox, San Diego Padres for one James Shield and Eric Johnson. Can you imagine an infield of Tim Anderson, Tatis, Moncada, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, all being managed by Tony La Russa?
That would be a
six like awesome like marketers of the game being told no. Don't stray too far from the dotted line. Don't you dare.
I did hear something. You know who's tearing it up in Double-A in the White Sox right now?
Elijah?
Yes.
Is Double-A or Lower A?
I think it's Double-A now. But he's tearing it up. Elijah Tatis, Fernando's younger brother. The reason why the White Sox were okay with trading his brother, because they think Elijah's better. That's nuts.
We'll see, though. Elijah Tatis. Yeah, there it is. How about that? But yeah, James, anything else to add before we end?
Make sure to check us out Thursday when we do a recap of the whole week. It's going to be a fun week to talk about. And just remember, these old people that are dragging our sport down won't be around forever.
You're so mean. You're so mean.
I respect Tony La Russa. He's managed great teams.
Right.
But there's nothing I hate more than when you just want to drag somebody down. The game is changing. Every time these stupid little sacred rules come up, and it really bugs me in Tony La Russa because, like I said, if you found the rules so sacred, you would have knocked the needle out of Mark McGwire's arm.
Well, that's there's no better way than that, James. Remember to like us on YouTube, follow us. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, wherever you can find your podcasts. We're there, James. And if you like us so much, please review us on Apple Podcasts. Do you like my NPR voice, James?
I was going to say, what was that all about?
Welcome to the Brothers Padre. Today's subject will be how we're going to end the show.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
There it is! Ho ho, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!